All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video. This one, we'll give our thoughts on whether or not we think people will still want to watch Walking Dead after this whole TS19 world craziness is done. Alright, so I figured we better go ahead and do at least a Walking Dead video today because it's been a few days since we've made one and people are starting to get the itch and people are getting mad at me for doing videos on other world topics because of, just with the whole situation that's going on right now in real life with the COVID. So this is a Walking Dead video, but this is the thing, guys. How can we not talk about TS19 when it's literally the reason why there's no Walking Dead on? It's the reason why there was no finale on with episode 16. It's the reason why we're not seeing World Beyond right now as a new series to check out. And it's the reason why Fear was stopped in terms of filming, and so we didn't see it during the summer, right? So it's pretty difficult for us to kind of discuss Walking Dead and without also bringing in the COVID talk, because we know that until COVID slows down, we're not going to get to see these Walking Dead episodes. So just for a quick little update for that, it's continuing to grow at about 3 or 4% per day, but that's very minimal compared to 13% or 12% like it was doing before. So that's really good to see. However, it is, in terms of the numbers, because you have 2 million people, now we're over 2 million people, 3% of that is still pretty high. It still means that each day in the U.S., you're getting almost 30,000 new people with it, or at least 25,000 testing positive for it. So it's still growing. So don't hold your breath for a reopen, within a month or two. If you still increase each day by 30,000, even though percentage is lower, if you're still increasing each day by 30,000 people in the U.S., it's highly unlikely, I would say, that they would reopen within the next month or two, because that means each month, if that continues, you're going to have another million people in the U.S. as you go forward, or close to it. 30,000 a day, 30 days, it's close to a million new people, or a million increased active cases per month. So it almost feels like right now it's probably more likely that we'll see a reopen at the soonest, maybe when we say like July maybe, or maybe the earliest June. I don't think we're going to see it in May. So maybe probably not June either, unless things really start to slow down a lot. So most likely July, August, that type of time frame. If things continue to go well, maybe we can see The Walking Dead be finished up at around that time, in around July, and then we can see it air, mid-July or August or something like that. And then that's going to throw World Beyond back further. And then I would expect Fear to be pushed back into the fall, or maybe even next year or something, because of whenever they have to finish it, or do a shorter season or something they might have to do. But the first topic for this one is, how do we think that the whole COVID craziness is going to affect the audience for Walking Dead? Do we think that people are still going to want to watch a zombie apocalypse series, and after kind of going through a flu-like pandemic, or the COVID TS19 type of pandemic here in real life? So I actually personally think that it probably will just make The Walking Dead even more popular, because people will get a little bit of experience, just a little bit, in terms of maybe a few months here, or however long this quarantine kind of lasts for, and everything that's happening in real life. Is it a little bit closer to like what the Walking Dead characters have to go through in terms of their life and their journey? Is it a little bit closer to that than our normal reality usually would be? I think it is. So I think it actually is going to blend the gap for people a little bit more between what our survivors in The Walking Dead have to go through, and in terms of entertainment, yes, it's a zombie apocalypse, so you have the zombies and everything, and we don't necessarily have that in real life here with this illness, this disease, virus, pandemic. But it feels like with the quarantine and kind of people getting a little bit of a different taste for what that kind of looks like in terms of a pandemic, spreading illness, this kind of thing, TS19, COVID-19. It feels like it's going to blend that gap a little bit better and make it so that you don't have to use your imagination so much to kind of take it to the next step, which would be like zombies and like a zombie virus that goes around and then they bite, and then it spreads through the bites or what have you, or when people die because they're infected with it, they they turn as well too. Personally, I think it'll probably actually just help Walking Dead even more because people will be able to relate to it a little bit closer. Being locked in quarantine kind of reminds you of characters like Gabriel when he was in his church and he just shut everyone out and just locked down. You can see a lot of that kind of stuff right now. When you're interfacing with people, they won't open their door. Maybe they open their door, they got their mask on, they stand like 5 feet away from you, act like you're a zombie or something. It's like, I'll leave it in the mailbox. I sold something to a guy the other day, and I had the mask and the gloves on and everything, and he's like, "Oh, I put the money in the trunk of my car, so you can come out and get the money and leave the." I sold him some figures. You can leave the figures in the car in the trunk, and I'm like, "Don't you want to check them and make sure I'm not scamming you or something?" He's like, "No, just leave them in the thing." He's like texting me. He's in the driver's seat, but he won't even open his window. He's like texting me on the phone. It's like why don't you just open? It's just I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little bit closer for us in terms of real world experience to what they actually go through in Walking Dead than what people would normally see. And I don't think that's going to hurt Walking Dead. I think it's actually going to make it, even closer for people so that they don't have to use as much of their imagination to get into that kind of a mindset. It'll be even easier for them. Plus, it's like in terms of timeline and what we're seeing right now in the Walking Dead TV series universe and the movies, what we'll see, and in Fear and in World Beyond, that's many, many years further into the future of a zombie apocalypse. So it's not like the closest thing we've seen in Walking Dead to that would be like maybe when Rick first wakes up, or probably even better would be at the very beginning at Fear when it just starts to break out and Nick goes to the hospital and everything like that, and you have that, and you have like your the girl that attacks him and everything when he's doing the drugs and stuff, and you just have the school and everything, Madison and Travis and being a teacher's guidance counselor, and it's just starting and she has to kill. Who does she kill? Does she kill the principal? I think so, or something like that. Principal, school, superintendent, supervisor, whatever, that type of thing. So so I don't think that COVID's going to hurt Walking Dead at all. I think if anything, it's actually going to help it more because people will be able to relate to it a little bit better than normally they would be able to. So now we'll get it. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Leave your comments below. Are you still as excited as ever to watch Walking Dead, if not more so, after this whole COVID craziness is done? S4B Suarez says, "So what's up with nobody dying on Fear the Walking Dead? It's unrealistic and annoying." So I think maybe he's referring to season 5 of Fear, the way they didn't have any major character deaths in Fear, and then they had the thing with Morgan at the end, which most people think he won't die from. If he does die, then I don't think anyone will be complaining that there's no major deaths or anything like that. Fear the Walking Dead for Suarez. Fear the Walking Dead did so many character deaths earlier on. They killed off Travis, they killed off Madison, oh, spoiler warning, they killed off Nick. They just about damn well killed off everybody. So they're due to have a season or two where not everybody dies. I'm not saying that's unrealistic or annoying. I'm saying it'd be unrealistic for everybody to... Well, okay, maybe it wouldn't be. I guess in the zombie apocalypse, yes, everybody could die. But who the hell would want to watch that? It's just they kill off absolutely everyone and start over or something. So, with nobody dying on Fear, I think it was a much-needed little bit of a break for the Fear survivors. And, I don't see that as unrealistic. Eventually, you'd get to the point where not everybody is dying every single month or every single year, right? You'd have a little bit of time where nobody would die for a while. You'd tend to think that would probably happen. They were due, man. Their death quota is well over over time. Bobby Federico says, Trev, do you think that the whole COVID thing is slowing down because it's summertime and it's getting hotter out, or because it's weakening itself? No. Well, Italy and Spain have been ravaged by it, right? And what were their temperatures when they had their worst months? Like, what was the temperature outside in Italy and Spain during March or during early April? I'm not sure, right? So you could kind of look into that. That was one of the theories they had, which is that as our temperature gets hotter, Trump even said that too, that as the weather gets warmer, flu season comes to an end, that COVID would slow down and everything like that. Now, I think personally it's probably slowing down a lot here in North America because people are following the social distancing guidelines pretty good. People are cognizant of it. Everybody has made changes. We've shut down everything. So that's got the percentage down. But I kind of feel like as well, the number's still going up by around 20 or 30,000 a day in the U.S., for example. So at least in the U.S., it's basically... it's still growing. You do have over 2 million people now, so it's good that it's slowing up and it's not going at 10% or 13%. But I did also think that even though your theoretical models have exponential growth going like that, you still have some people getting better and they become, is it asymptomatic, and then they're pulled off the list. So they're not giving it to others. So even though you have theoretically an exponential curve that's gonna go up like that, and it was, as you start to take people out of that list, they're not really accounted for. They're not deducted from the overall cases. That's just the active. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Is that people getting better, and then they're not giving it to others after, which is good. Distancing has helped a lot, I think. Shutting things down has helped, and I think that's got most to do with it. Will the temperature have an effect? I hope so. I hope that as the temperature gets warmer out here, wherever you guys are, that it starts to slide even more, and then it goes down eventually to zero, and then we start seeing it go the other way and start actually reducing the cases instead of a positive growth. We see a negative growth or something. That would be great. But I don't know. I don't think anybody knows right now or can say that the temperature really has an impact or effect. I think the only thing you could probably do is maybe look at some warmer countries and that had warmer temperatures during March and during February and see. But the problem is there's so many variables. Like, did they test enough? Has the strain mutated in different countries? It's one of the theories that's been brought up, is that maybe the strain in Italy and Spain is so brutal because it's changed, and then in other places we have a weaker form of it, so it's not so brutal. Yeah, we'll have to see as time plays out here, but I hope during the warmer weather, during the summer, it will slow down and we can see our Walking Dead return soon and our lives can go back to somewhat like normal, right? Social distancing stuff will probably kind of stay in place, which is kind of annoying, but what can you do, right? Oh well. Red Lotus says, what if Tobias is the character in the Iron Mask? That's so stupid. Early fear stuff. Tobias, come on, man. He's not Morales 2.0. We've already done this already. Zell says, yes, the beloved character of the princess from the comics. We've all been waiting for her to show up. Said, literally nobody, no one ever. Yes. I actually, so far, have liked seeing the princess in the TV series. I wasn't super amped to see her from the comics because she was kind of annoying in the comics. But the TV series version so far, I think, is fun and upbeat, and I think her and Ezekiel could get along pretty well. Jerald Mason says, you never know what Virgil could become. Father Gabriel was a hated character. People may not love him like some other characters, but he has become important to the group. And that's probably a fair point from Jerald, which is that we could maybe over time grow to like Virgil. I don't think anybody really likes Virgil right now because of what happened with Michonne. But we have to give him a chance, and I do like Father Gabriel a lot right now, and I did not like him at all at first, shutting people out, not letting them in, but I do think that this whole COVID situation has really given me a new understanding of Father Gabriel, because, that's what you're seeing so much of now. If people needed help and stuff, people are not, that's the way they're acting. They're like, no, stay away. You deal with yourself. You deal with your own. I'm not going to put a mask on and gloves and come and help you or something. I'm just going to stay away, right? I'm seeing a lot of that, unfortunately. But oh well, what is it? But whatever it is. But I guess with Virgil, we could grow to like Virgil at some point. We got to give him a chance. You never know what they'll do with him in the future. We're probably not supposed to like him right now anyway, because he was sort of a minor bad guy for Michonne a little bit. Uniquevsmadmonkeyman says, you've been quarantined for a week and complain. Try 5 weeks and still going. For God knows how long. Anyway, stay safe and regards from Finland. So, yeah. So, he got Mad Monkey Man's mad at me from Finland because, I was complaining about being bored and about the quarantine already. And, we've been quarantined about the same amount of time, Mad Monkey Man. But, I'm still working and stuff. It's just I was on vacation, so I've been kind of rather bored, because usually during my vacations I like to go out a lot and do stuff and shopping and do things like that. And now we can't do that because of the whole COVID situation. So vacation time this year is kind of boring. But I like doing this with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I'll be back to work on Monday, so that's good. After my time off. But yeah, I hope it doesn't last too long, and I hope we can all get back to normal life and back to work for everybody. Anybody who's off right now, enjoy your time off. Try to keep yourself busy around the house or whatever. Try to exercise maybe and do your stuff that you can do, and stay healthy. And that's the best we can really do right now until eventually we all kind of get back to normal life. Work is something everybody complains about. Work for a while, like Normally people always complain about work, but then if you take a lot of time off and you start getting really bored, you get the itch to want to do it again, right? You get the itch to want to go back, so it's true. Cody Hanlon with our last one says, can you give a brief explanation of what the New World Order is? And so, I bought Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike book. I just got it. It took a while to ship, like a month. This thing is freaking huge, man. So Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma. This is given out to, I think it says basically every Mason at a certain level. Is it 14 or something? Something like that with their degrees. They all have to read Morals and Dogma. It's like they're, necessary. Look at how the size of this freaking thing is ridiculous. And the print's not that big either. This thing is going to take me forever to go through. But we got some time now, so we'll start that. Order ab chaos, right in the front there for the Freemasons. Order out of chaos is what that means. So you have the chaos, you bring in your order. If you have order and you want to make a change, you bring in chaos, and then you bring it back to order. That's the game. So I'm going to read through that. Basically, this stuff, okay, so the theme of the channel right now is New World Order. This stuff goes over a lot of people's heads. It does. A lot of people, they just want to disregard it, and they want to act like it's silly, nonsense, yada, 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 whatever, and that there are not, that the pyramid isn't, they want to deny the existence of the pyramid. They want to say it's not real, and it's just some crazy theory, and yada, yada, this whole thing. And Freemasons just get drunk, and that's all they do. They just get together every Friday or whatever day they meet, and they all get wasted, right? And there's not much to, this whole thing. There's not much to Freemasonry, and there's not much to it. That's basically what they want to, that's the worldview they want to possess or they want to have. So a brief explanation of New World Order and what it is. It's difficult for me to give you a brief explanation, Cody, of what the pyramid is or what the 13 are, what the Committee of 300 is. Basically, this is the concept. The concept is most people want to believe that their elected officials, their politicians, your Trump and your people like this, are the ones who run the world. They want to think that the politicians are the ones who make the big decisions, make all the necessary changes that give the agenda, that give the world direction, and they deny the existence of, you could say, secret society. It's not really secret. Basically, everybody knows what Freemasonry is. There's lodges all over the place. They're everywhere, so it's not a secret. They want to deny the existence of the societies and their impact on the world, and they want to deny the existence of the what you can call the Illuminati. You can call them the elites. You can call them the royal. I like the term. It's older though. I don't think they go by this anymore. The Royal Society, because at some point the Royal Society, and I'm going through it all right now, basically the history of it. But the Royal Society joined with the Freemasons, and when they did that, they created, I would say, a very strong, overarching, I think it's referred to as the Leviathan, Octopus's Garden, an overarching structure that's massive, that pervades countries, that is global, is worldwide, tied into the United Nations and everything else. So that's what a lot of people want to deny the existence of. New World Order, which is the theme of the channel, the name of the Walking Dead's volume that we're getting into right now, is basically the concept of the Royal Society joined with the Freemasons and the pyramid overall, and their influence on the world. How many things do they have influence on? Well, I can tell you the Rothschilds created Israel, so that's a big one. They created a country, so that's influence right there, and that's power. You can't just create a country that easily. So that's an illustration of the Royal Society's power. David Rockefeller and all the work that he did, look into all the different things the Rockefellers were involved with. And recently, the star of the hour, I'd say, is Bill Gates. And he's not illuminated. He's not in the illuminated top upper echelon Royal Society degrees, because they have a tier system, which is explained in here. Basically, the different levels of the tiers and the way they move up. The idea is once you get to the top level of Freemasonry, if your contributions are great enough, you can be illuminated, you can move up into the illuminated degrees. So a lot of people want to deny this. A lot of agreeable writers, mythbusters, and people like this, they just want to push it under the rug. They want to believe the moon landings are real, even though they pretty obviously weren't, and I can show you guys if you want to take. We could go through 10 or 20 hours of reasons looking at their footage of why it's not real. People have done that. There's videos online doing that, and once you watch it through, you say, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, it wasn't real. Okay, cool. But what does that mean? And how come Buzz Aldrin's a Freemason? You can look up his certificate online. Why is that? How did these guys, how did this society get into such positions of power? I forget how many presidents have been Freemasons. I'll have to look up the number. It's a lot. It's over 10. I forget how many U.S. presidents are Freemasons, but it's a lot. How did these guys get into such prominent positions of power? How did they get all over the damn place? And there's a reason for it. And if you realize that the pyramid is real and it's not just some crazy kooky conspiracy theory idea, then you'll realize that the Committee of 300 and these other councils and these other institutions actually do have a huge amount to do with the direction of the world as a whole. That's what they're about. Trump's about the U.S., other elected officials are about their particular country. But I would say that Freemasons, the Royal Society or the Illuminati, and the pyramid are more about world global control than they are about just particular individual countries. So whenever you see chaos in the world, think about what order will be brought about afterwards from the chaos, and that's the Freemasons' motto, order ab chaos. It's on the damn cover from Albert Pike, right? So that's what it is. So I'm going to go through this information. I've got a lot to learn about this. Look at this book, man. Look at this thing. This is like a damn dictionary. And yes, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go through the entire thing and learn everything there is to know about this so I can articulate some of these ideas with you guys better. But basically, I got to a point where I realized that, okay, this stuff is not just crazy, kooky conspiracy theory and that this is real. Okay, what does that mean for everything else then? Then it means that the world is not the way you think it is. It's not the simplistic, elected official politics type of world. There are big, heavy hitters behind the scenes in an organized structure that make decisions about what shit's going to happen, and then, we see it unfold, such as war in Iraq, such as everything that happens in the Middle East is, I would say, global controlled, is not just, just U.S. controlled. It's greater than that, meaning like Barack Obama and Bush, right? Bush was in it too. He was, and even his dad too, right? As well, Herbert Walker Bush. So anyway, that's basically a really quick, brief explanation, Cody. There's so much more to it than that, but basically, it is very interesting to read into, and it's very fun to learn about, and it explains a lot of the things that happen in our lives and why certain things don't look right. And there's a reason for it. It's because they're not right. They're not just naturally occurring, right? So that's what I'm into, and that's what I'm learning more about. Whenever you see chaos in the world, ask yourself what order will be brought about as a result of it. If it's the Masons, if they had anything to do with it, sure enough, you can expect there to be order after the chaos. And the trick is they bring in the chaos to bring about the order to give us an update. It's like a software update, right? You bring in the chaos and then you bring in the order afterwards, which was your intended original purpose. That's it for this video today, guys. Lots more to come in the future, but I don't know how many Walking Dead videos we're going to do because there's really no, there's Friday Night In with the Morgan, so that's going to be cool. But aside from that, we don't have anything new for Walking Dead. So I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do to pass the time. I'll still produce with you guys, and I hope I don't piss off too many people with not doing as much Walking Dead as usual. But what are you going to do? If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, you can subscribe at the bottom left if you're new. That's it with this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.